Hello. In the past couple of years, we've seen people saying slop more and more. It's used to describe easy to consume content with its only purpose being sustenance or entertainment. Whilst it's easy to attack for its lack of creativity, it does at least serve a purpose. But where it becomes more egregious is if it's not presented with honesty. If you're going to espouse lots of incorrect details or preach morals that you don't really stand by, what value does your content even have? What makes you different from any other random person who can fake it till they make it? The points you make in your videos and how you present them says something about you. Unless, of course, they were never your points. OtterlyNoah is a left-leaning video essayist with around 50,000 subscribers. His most popular videos are all about autism representation in popular films and TV. You can tell this because his description says #autism. But as of recently, he's made several videos going after political grifters in media criticism, or as he calls them, griffly bears. Noah's widely disliked targets and his coverage of them have gathered him a core audience of supporters. But what separated video and persona began to shine through with a myriad of online drama. It ended up questioning whether Noah's content was even his own and not just copied from others. In these last few months, he's proven himself to be manipulative and dishonest. The public window he gives his audience is far from showing the full scale of his actions, and it begs the obvious question: if he were to look at himself, would he use the label he throws onto others? OtterlyNoah is a media reviewer by trade, so it was unlikely for him to ever come across my radar had it not been for the way he started his major controversy. In early January 2026, the streamer Tectone had his court battle come to a close. Now, summarizing his whole situation isn't for this video, but basically, his ex-girlfriend accused him of abuse. The court agreed, and Tectone had a whole load of restrictions upon him as part of a restraining order. With this huge news coming in, a lot of people wanted to know Tectone's history of controversies and how this all came to be. Noah, seeing an opening, posted a tweet glazing himself on Twitter. The link below was his video, "Anti-woke religious gamers are unintentionally hilarious, hunting grizzly bears," but the tweet caught the eye of Shamu, a smaller drama creator who had been one of the breakthrough people covering Tectone. And when you put Noah's video side by side with Shamu's uploaded a few months prior, you start to see some very similar passages. Both videos follow the same sort of timeline in the story and talk about the same kind of points. Now, this can be chalked down to just similar coverage. After all, when two people cover the same story, they're poised to overlap with each other somewhere. But in some parts, Noah's video is just him talking over Shamu's video. In some cases, he directly takes edits from the video with no credit whatsoever. Nicandros, another smaller drama creator, chimed in and made an entire compilation showing examples of Noah's copying. This shows pretty clearly that whilst this isn't plagiarism in the traditional definition of copying words, it does show that Noah used the edits, made the same kind of points, and followed the same timeline. This isn't just purely coincidental. Some of these edits are harder to spot than others. For example, in this clip, Noah changes it by zooming in, but leaves a little trace of Shamu's text. In another example, Noah would seemingly go out of his way to remove credit to people Shamu had credited. In this clip, Shamu credits the original creator Plazukas, but Noah's version tries its best to zoom away from him or crop out the credit. When Shamu noticed this, he sent Noah a DM simply asking for credit. Noah didn't respond, but did reply to one of his tweets taking credit for, quote, pushing more of your information on Tectone to a bigger audience. Shamu hadn't wanted to make a big deal out of this, but after seeing Noah proudly display this video, he posted a tweet calling him out. Noah then pumped the brakes and said that he never saw a DM and he wasn't trying to come off like he plagiarized him. Shamu doubted this and reiterated that he had no right to rip his video without any sort of credit. Noah responded saying that just because he screen recorded and ripped Shamu's video, it wasn't his intention to plagiarize, he just wanted to use his bigger platform to let people know about Tectone. This is very much using the ends to justify the means, over again a pretty simple issue that could have been credited by just showing his clips with his name on them. You can spread the message or whatever without copying someone's video and presenting it as if it's your own. Noah then claims that he credited Shamu, and that he credits tons of people in the description, whether it be from books, news sites or videos. However, Shamu quickly points out that this credit was added just now whilst they were speaking. Noah then backtracks and says that he never specifically said that he didn't add it now. However, the way it's worded seems to signify otherwise. If he explained the situation to someone else, this vague framing could obscure his actions and confuse people into thinking it's way less worse than it actually is. After this, Noah then started to go on the offensive against both Nicandros and Shamu. He also tried to argue that this wasn't actually plagiarism at all by definition, and that Nicandros and Shamu were just whiny petty losers jealous of the great Noah's success. A good reminder that this started because Noah posted to Twitter stroking his ego by saying that he's got the biggest video about this whole situation. This attitude just seems very strange. It's especially opposed to how he said he respected both of them quite a bit as commentary creators back in the DMs. And again, as for the claim that this isn't plagiarism, it may not fit the standard definition of copying someone's work verbatim word for word, but when you depend on the same edits, use the same talking points, follow a similar story, it gets a lot more suspect. This is pretty different from just using screenshots. You're cutting as much credit out of them as possible, and then using that for your video. This isn't background footage, it's something that a casual viewer would assume was your work gathering these clips together. In his stream chat, Noah would later gloat about how he was gonna roast Shamu and Nicandros, immediately labeling them as seething conservatives. This is despite the fact conservatism never had anything to do with this discussion. What exactly is the chud-coded behavior here? Holding someone to account for not giving credit? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time plagiarism was significantly discussed online was a huge left-leaning creator raking these people over the coals for 2 hours straight. Come on, man. Do you just want to label them as conservatives because it'd be easier to write them off? Also, there's this tweet which I just want to highlight. I checked it, and by definition, Noah isn't plagiarism. Sure ain't. Nick and Shamu can whine all they want, but my videos they're complaining about are fair use, and don't plagiarize them. If they want to copyright strike me for these videos though, feel free. We'll be very telling and very petty, which they already are. Hey Toastify, why'd you bring up this tweet specifically? Listen, no reason. Just don't worry about it, you know? Not long after promoting a stream he was hopping onto, OtterlyNoah was doxxed on Twitter. AKA they found his full name because he credited himself with his full name alongside OtterlyNoah on YouTube. Surely you gotta do some OPSEC or something, man, come on. Noah immediately jumped to blame Shamu and Nicandros for this doxing. His proof? Well, an account responded to him saying, "Shamju wants us to dox and harass you," and that sounds more fun than listening to your stream. How this is evidence is kinda beyond me, not just because it's some random guy saying this with nothing to prove it, but also because he calls him Shamju. Not gonna lie guys, I don't think OtterlyNoah is very smart. Probably because when they posted his name, he then retweeted it and posted it to his audience, making everyone aware that yes, that is his dox. Shamu would obviously respond to this, stating that Noah was defaming him to cover up his plagiarism. With everything going on, there were a lot of questions remaining unanswered, and we would get some of those answers within 24 hours, when Noah was challenged on his work by a number of creators. The resulting stream panel included people like Dickers, The British Runner, Emrau, Shamu, and Nicandros, all drama channels who had recently been critical of Noah in some way. Noah also brought along a small streamer named Wargaming Dad, who he had recently streamed with trying to dispel the plagiarism allegations.
Let's say someone made a video on the J.K. Rowling autism coded thing that you just did. They used clips from your video, even though you don't own the clips of J.K. Rowling or whatever clips you use there. They just cut your video up, put it in theirs, and then narrated over it, right? They took your editing. The hours of work that you did, they're now just stealing, putting in their own video, and portraying it as theirs, right? If you just came across that naturally, you'd probably be a bit annoyed. Could you maybe tell it, or would you be annoyed? And if so, why would you be annoyed, I guess?
That would be pretty upsetting, because the reason I did that video is because nobody has talked about that before, you know, like the autism J.K. Rowling
I understand.
thing.
Why would that upset you?
Because well, you know, it's an idea that I came up with, you know, the autism J.K. Rowling stuff. Yeah, because I don't like. That's also why I guess that's also why I'm struggling to figure out why Shamu thinks like. Like, does he think coverage of Tectone is plagiarism, or I'm just
Shamu's ready to hop in, by the way.
The thing is, Noah can't seem to understand that it's not really about the idea. There is nothing new under the sun, and just because people cover the same idea doesn't inherently mean it's plagiarism. The difference is in the detail, how the opinions and timeline are presented. In this case, Noah has done none of his presentations. He is the cheap Chinese knockoff. The segment's purpose isn't a new idea, it's clearly just repackaging it for a different audience. Even if you then did that, the sheer audacity to then brag about it like it's a lighthouse of information ocean in the stormy waters of Tectone drama, saying your video's the highest views and everyone's jealous, that just adds to how stupid it is.
He said specifically here, Shamju, so I'm assuming that's Shamu, wants us to dox and harass you. And frankly, that sounds like more fun than listening to your stream. So like, and then, you know, I go in.
Why would you believe what he said?
Because I thought this guy was actually working with Shamu.
After he's called him Shamju.
Now, you may be sitting there thinking, so what? One video, is that all it takes for this guy to be labeled as a plagiarist? And don't worry, because you're in luck. A couple of videos released by Ryle Kittenhouse showed far more examples of Noah copying other creators in his work. And this is far from some of the interpretive perspective beforehand, this is copying homework and changing it up a bit.
Vasquez starts this shot as an amorphous blob before the AI starts to put a mouth on her cheek.
In this shot here with Vasquez, it tries to read her face at first as an amorphous blob because it doesn't recognize her face is a face.
In the same OtterlyNoah video, they steal more from Norel, taking the graphics and a snippet of the script.
And Tom Arnold, a spectacle to behold in his prime, looks to be in the early stages of Emperor Palpatineism.
This shot here makes Tom Arnold look like he's turning into an amalgamation of Emperor Palpatine and Donald Trump.
Doing a retrospective is one thing, but in this video, both Noah and Vincent Pavarel are responding to the same video, and Noah is coincidentally making the same sort of points, using the same footage, and saying the same descriptors.
This year kicked off with Captain America: Brave New World.
No, this year kicked off with Companion, Better Man, and Dog Man.
This year kicked off with Captain America: Brave New World.
No, this year did not start off with Captain America: Brave New World. This year started off with Companion, Better Man, and Dog Man in January of 2025.
And I'm even skipping on a couple. One of them, Better Man, was a massive box office disaster. But let's not use box office as a metric to determine a film's quality for a moment.
Better Man was actually a pretty decent and unique music biopic about the British singer Robbie Williams that unfortunately ended up being a big flop for Paramount. But let's take a step back and not use box office to determine whether a film is actually good or not, Jester Bell.
Having a unique energy to it, incredible dance sequences.
Some absolutely gorgeous dance sequences all throughout.
I thought it would be a good time to just express what I've been feeling this year reviewing movies.
You mean reviewing only massive blockbuster IP-driven movies and not really movies in general, but okay.
To just express what I've been feeling this year reviewing movies.
Ah yes, and by reviewing movies, you mean only major American mainstream blockbuster films.
Sinners and Weapons, there were a couple things in it that I thought I don't want to see that in the theater.
What couple of things do you feel like you don't want to see in Sinners specifically? You want to at least elaborate a bit on that?
Also, what exactly in Sinners made you not want to see it in particular? You mind elaborating on that?
Just so much more sludge.
That sludge is Disney and IP movies, Jester Bell, which is not the entirety of Hollywood or movies all across the world.
Just so much more sludge.
That sludge you're referring to is just simply Disney and IP movies. That's not the entirety of Hollywood.
Why not hope for movies that do better at the box office to be good movies too?
Why not hope for movies that are successful at the box office to be good movies first and foremost?
On paper, this might seem like a different video and not word-for-word plagiarism by definition, but in its soul and spirit and I think production, this is just a regurgitation. It doesn't have its own opinion or story to tell, it's a copy-paste of a rebuttal.
The way Jester Bell phrased this here sounds like generalization, and referring to people who watch these films as snobs who pretend like they're superior sound kind of mildly condescending.
She seems to think that anyone who watches independent films automatically is a film snob and thinks they're better than everybody else. Yeah, that's totally not overgeneralizing and completely condescending at all.
You can even spot the Windows Media Player showing he obviously just downloaded and screen recorded Vincent's videos. In the second video, Ryle shows Noah heavily copying off another creator called SK.
Okay, but this is a trailer, not a movie.
And funny enough, now Jester Bell is doing the exact same thing, talking about the trailer for Supergirl before the movie's even out.
I don't know why so many people on YouTube seem to think that they're time travelers all of a sudden.
I guess Jester Bell must have magically found a DeLorean or something though and traveled to 2026.
Iron Man is a completely different movie from Winter Soldier. The Avengers is a completely different movie from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Iron Man 3 feels like a very different movie than Thor. Spider-Man Homecoming feels like a very different movie than Black Panther. The Avengers is a very different movie than Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's almost as if they're using a variation to contrast Superman's character.
Jester Bell also doesn't seem to understand this slogan is supposed to show the contrast in the ADL
portrayals of Supergirl and Superman.
Because if she didn't have any character flaws, I'm betting people would go on about how she's a Mary Sue.
Because if the trailer showed that she didn't have any character flaws, then this crowd would just go the other direction and call her a Mary Sue.
James Gunn initially wasn't ready to commit to Superman because he was still feeling the trauma of his Marvel firing.
What was going on at the time was him feeling the trauma of being fired by Disney for his old tweets.
Some of these are cold hard facts. Other parts are just the same clips to respond to and very similar points. Following the stream, Noah put up a community post apologizing for his plagiarism of Shamu, Vincent Poverel, and Nerol. This was pretty straightforward and plain, which is a decent rule of thumb for apologies like this. He also made a video apologizing and committing to rectifying his issues through plagiarism detection software, which I don't really know because I don't think those software even detect YouTube videos. You just don't have to copy their points, especially in a rebuttal. Just use your brain to respond. Noah also doesn't note the false accusations he made of doxing. Now, you might be feeling a little lost and out of whack right now, and that's because usually when looking at a content creator, I don't really get stuck into the drama immediately. I'll give some background as to who this creator is and what they do, but with Noah, apart from the autism representation videos, I can't really portray that accurately, because in a lot of the examples of recent content, it's been shown that it's not entirely his. It's hard to summarize Noah's personality and what he makes when I don't even know if it's the points he came up with. It's not like he has a baseline story and relies more on his personality as a way to accentuate it and give his unique flavor. That is just not there in the way that Noah approaches these videos. So by the way he works, there's nothing that inherently separates him from anyone else. Would relying on other people's points to slide by for easy views without credit maybe sound like, grifting? You decide. Most of Noah's fellow creators and his audience were happy to forgive him, despite how this had called into question the entire nature of a lot of Noah's videos. At the very least, it shows that he doesn't really have what it takes when he has to speak for himself. Again, you're bound to collide in points when responding to a video, but the point of responding to a video is that it's a response. It is your personal feelings on someone else's take. Noah doesn't seem to be able to do that, at least in these examples, without lightly or heavily lifting someone else's takes. And so maybe it wasn't surprising when Noah was personally criticized and thrown into his own drama, his crumbling was instant. Noah is no stranger to online conflict. Obviously, his videos accusing and calling out other people for being grifters would clash with those being accused. And a month before his Tectone video, OtterlyNoah released Critical Drinker's review of Predator Badlands is hot garbage, hunting grizzly bears. Critical Drinker, for those who don't know, is a pretty popular media reviewer on YouTube who's generalized into the whole anti-woke crowd. Now, I'm not going to dive into the gritty details of media reviewing, honestly speaking, not my area of expertise. However, I do know that this video gathered the attention of EFAP, a media review podcast with an assortment of personalities, some of whom were friends with Critical Drinker. They criticized Noah's video on their podcast, starting a period of animosity between the two. However, Noah's response to seeing EFAP cover his video was to immediately puff out his chest. Lamau, they know I'm a threat. Yeah, they don't have much else going for them except trying to defend Drinker and hope that will earn them some of his viewers, I imagine. Otherwise, they're pretty much done for. Are they just a podcast of grifters? Essentially. EFAP's coverage plus the plagiarism controversy had attracted some unwanted attention to Noah. He got into fights with a fairly small channel named KinoFlex, who you're gonna see pop up more frequently. And more importantly, on April 12th of this year, a small YouTuber named Callisto released a hypercritical 2-hour video pouring over Noah's content. Again, it goes over a lot of his different takes on TV, films, and games, but it also includes a section dedicated to Noah's plagiarism. Noah even made a response to the video himself via stream. Yet only a day or so after its original upload, Callisto's video disappeared from his channel. A few days later, it came back up, but with a new thumbnail. White background, black text spelling out temporary thumbnail. What happened? Well, Callisto's original video had been hit with a copyright strike. Originally, the source of this strike was puzzling. It turns out an artist for OtterlyNoah named Deus Marionette had been the one to issue it, and the strike was specifically for using the art that Deus had made of Noah's character. When other YouTubers, like a certain Nick Diorio, picked the story up, Noah responded with a tweet from KinoFlex clarifying that a separate person had striked this and they were resolving it. When Nick asked whether this was Noah's artist, Noah didn't respond. At the time, Nick was on EFAP, who were live partly covering Callisto's video, and they were all aware of the recent developments. Suspicion predictably surrounded Noah and his involvement. For example, in his stream response, why did he download Callisto's video to react to? In doing so, he automatically removes the ability to check the transcript or scrub through the video accurately. The only reason for downloading would be if he knew it was going down, but perhaps that was just part of his video process. Nicandros also noted that Noah was claiming the two had now squashed the beef and were working together. This just wasn't true. Nicandros had rejected Noah's offer, but recommended him resources for original research. At the time of the EFAP stream, Noah would also post to his community tab, clarifying what happened. I'm well aware of the EFAP stream covering Callisto's response to me, but I want to make it clear that the response doesn't change what I've said about ending the beef with both Callisto and Kinoflex. He was sent a copyright claim from someone I know, but I was not responsible for it. I'm working to get it resolved to show that I'm not going back on my word, and I'm looking forward to the next stream to finally put all this drama behind us. The morning after, Kinoflex revealed the strike was now in the process of being lifted. When Dickers publicly pressed on how convenient this had all been, Kinoflex sent him a clip to prove the artist was acting on her own. In this clip, Noah, his co-host Simon, and the artist Deus are in a call. This 30-second clip shows the artist being pretty protective of her own work.
Well, look, I don't post on YouTube. I have nothing to do with that community, so to know that people are using my work to promote their stuff is kind of shocking to me, because I post no videos. I don't know who any of these people are, so for me, it's a no-go. So for you to tell me that someone using my work, that I have no idea who they are, never seen these videos, never consented to their opinions, it's like I'm promoting their work.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, I get what you're saying. So, like I said, I'm sorry, honestly, if I actually, said something that might have actually been off there, so.
Well, me and him have resolved it. He's removed it. I've removed the claim because he's taken the art off, and yeah, I don't know why anyone else is getting involved in this.
Yet this didn't really convince Dickers or anyone else for that regard. Tons of people had used this exact piece of art when they were covering Noah's plagiarism scandal. The only person who had ever been taken down was Callisto. Dickers, Nick Diorio, and a variety of other people were then blocked for questioning Noah's culpability. And the reason is because they were right. Behind the scenes, Noah orchestrated the strike against Callisto, and manipulated friends and critics alike into his whim. This community post where he said he wasn't responsible was a lie, all of it. To understand the complete scale of Noah's deception, we need to first take a look at the DMs between everyone he talked to. There were 4 key figures here: Callisto, Kinoflex, Wargaming Dad, and Deus, the artist. All these conversations were happening at around the same time, but we'll start in chronological order with Deus Marionette. Hey Deus, I wanted to give you a heads up, but apparently an anti-woke channel is using your art in their thumbnail in a video attacking me specifically, but also attacking black people. OMG, what is wrong with people? You might want to file a copyright takedown so your art doesn't get accidentally associated with them. I know, right? It's ridiculous. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. What's the channel? It's named Callisto, I think. I see it. I can also walk you through the steps for setting up a copyright takedown if you want. Camelot apparently has had a similar situation before, so she let me know how she did it. Yeah, that first one. Now, there's a few things to note here. First of all, Noah isn't just responsible for alerting her to the video, he is directly recommending her to take this down with a copyright strike and offering to walk her through what to do and how to do it. The next thing that catches your eye is Callisto's video was attacking black people? Well, last time I checked, Noah's white, so clearly something else is going on here. We'll keep this on the burner for now, because Noah doesn't exactly explain what he's referring to, but he will do later, and spoiler alert, his claim is ludicrous. Still, it's nice to know that this copyright strike actually had nothing to do with fair use and copyright law. Important to note considering the copyright system can actually lead to legal consequences. Whilst this strike was being processed, Noah reached out to Kinoflex and by proxy Callisto about how Callisto's video made him feel. He pleaded with them for peace, offering to delete his, tweets in exchange for Callisto removing his 2-hour video. Kinoflex was pretty happy with this and said he would forward it to Callisto, who denied it. They may not have known it yet, but this was Noah forcing a choice onto them. If Callisto didn't take it down, Noah would do it for him. Kino and Noah discuss stuff further on, where Noah notes that he regretted some of the stuff he said about Kino. His message to Callisto also prompts him to correct some of his actual mistakes from his video. A day later, the strike came through to Callisto, and Kinoflex contacted Noah on his behalf. Listen to how Noah reacts. Hey Noah, Callisto received a removal request for using your avatar in his thumbnail, and wanted me to reach out to you to see if you know who this Deus marionette person who sent the copyright claim is and how it can be resolved. The email from YouTube says it's scheduled to be deleted in 7 days. Oh Deus Marionette is my PNG artist. She made my PNGs I use in my video. I originally sent her Callisto's video. How do you think Callisto can resolve this issue with them? He's planning on sending an email to her. That would probably be the best option there, if I'm being honest. It is ultimately her art, so it's out of my hands. He could talk to her through her emails. I know for YouTube copyright claims, assuming there aren't ones where you're struck immediately, you basically have 7 days to remove the content or you'll get struck, unless you can reach a compromise. It's why currently, I actually have a full strike against my channel from an anti-woke AI channel that I guess I pissed off a while back for using the heel versus babyface remix in a video lmao. I don't know if you saw that entire situation, but it was pretty ridiculous, because the AI channel didn't make the remix even. This is completely absurd. Noah is obviously playing dumb here, as if he wasn't the who showed her the video and told her to strike it. To me, there is no other way to see this other than bold-faced lying. The worst part here, and the one I would highlight the most, is that whilst he's talking to Kinoflex and Callisto and saying that Callisto should send an email to Deus, here's what he's saying to his artist Deus at the exact same time. Heads up, it sounds like Callisto is preparing to email you. I just ignore him when it's sent. Not worth the energy. Whilst he's literally working against Kinoflex and Callisto, he's telling them that he just doesn't want drama and asks if they can tweet out defending him on his behalf. And you know what? They agree. In this sense, he's also shifting the blame away and onto the artist who did it. Feeling the online tide shifting, Noah directed Deus to remove the strike. The next day, people like Wargaming Dad and Noah's co-host Simon were out in spades defending Noah from the suspicion put forward by various drama channels. Their logic was that this was Noah's artist, and there was no proof Noah was guilty. Whilst this was going on, Wargaming Dad was messaging Noah, and the more he inquired into the situation, the more defensive Noah became. It's been resolved. An artist friend of mine copyright struck Callisto apparently out of nowhere, since she felt him using her art without permission was him using her to promote his ideas, or whatever. Callisto reached out to her, and I did too. Seems she pulled the claim thankfully. Okay, good. Yeah, me and Simon VC'd her too to confirm. Cool. Simon says he didn't commission the art used. No, it was free, so that threw another wrench into it. I didn't pay for it, so she had full ownership over it. Do you know when the video first got taken down? That I don't really know, to be honest. I'd have to check with Callisto specifically to figure out the timeline. I reached out to him too. Diorio doesn't show the date. When did Callisto reach out to you? Let me look again. Kino was the one who reached out originally on the 17th, it looks like. Cool. When did you first talk to your artist with Kino and Simon? That was yesterday, the 18th, right after my autism stream. I know what he's referring to, but this just sounds funny. Okay, can I see the bottom message? I'm going on Dicker's stream today, and I want the timeline straight. Yeah, good plan. Can I use the screenshot, and can I get the whole bottom message? Sure, let me get the full thing. I will say here, this girl is wrong. Even though it's her art, people using that art in a thumbnail to make a video about you does not go against copyright. And Noah responds saying, I agree. I think she does not understand fair use. Motherfucker, who do you think told her about fair use and how to issue the copyright strike? It was you all along. This is so pathetic pretending like he wasn't even there when he was. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it cannot be understated how many times this guy just blatantly lies. Mr. She doesn't understand fair use was telling Deus this after she put the strike on. Thanks, Deus. You honestly could have made it an instant strike based on how much they use your material. You were definitely nicer about it than I would have been, but glad it's being dealt with. King hell. I agree. I think she does not understand fair use. Most don't. I don't like the conclusion, but if all parties are happy, then it's settled. Just know Dickers is going to drop this clip on me. Yeah, that's why I sent it to you in advance. What is your relationship going forward? If it was me, I would change profile pictures so she doesn't do this again. Thanks. I am planning on that, yeah. I figured just doing the investigation thing. Talk about the worst time to do it during the quartering drama. 100%. Seems most reasonable people know what actually happened though. True. After Wargaming Dad goes on Dickers' stream, the questions he's asked on there prompt him to start looking further into the situation, and when he starts to get into contact with the artist and get her side of the story, Noah goes into complete panic mode. So Wargaming Dad at 3:17 PM says, one final question, did you decide to talk to her before or after the Diorio tweet? An hour later he says, Is it possible to talk to Deus? Noah replies 2 minutes later, I'm streaming right now, hang on. 8 minutes later, Wargaming Dad says, no problem, I got her. And then after an hour, Noah gets wind of it and he says, leave Deus alone please, this is not helping anything, she just called me, tell others to leave her alone as well. She is saying you asked her to copyright strike it. Is that true? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No reply? You need to let me into this call, bud. Oh, no, buddy. And whilst he's trying to wrangle Wargaming Dad from uncovering his lies, here's what he's saying to Deus, who, to be clear, is the same person he's throwing under the bus whilst talking to Wargaming Dad. Do not speak to Wargaming Dad yet. I am concerned about what's going on. He's asking me about the whole Callisto thing. Just ignore him for now. He's another drama tuber. I will talk to you when I'm done streaming. Why is he in your Discord then? I think he got the link because it is public. I'll kick when I'm done. He's asking if you approached me. Do not say anything yet. I will call you. This is the worst thing Noah's done yet in his career. This is the type of stuff that haunts you like a spectre long after it's happened, and deservedly so. Words cannot describe how manipulative this entire progression of events is. It's clearly a lie gone buck wild. But the amount of people who Noah simultaneously over is incredible. First of all, the artist, Deus Marionette. Noah gets his artist involved, encourages and instructs them to strike down a video critical of him using her artwork. He is the very person who painted out this video and immediately suggested copyright as a solution. Then, when the tides turn, Noah throws his artist under the bus and says she doesn't understand fair use and it was her idea, she's at fault. It is incredibly snaky to do something like this, and also really reckless. As I said before, and as Noah knows, the copyright system is a legal system. Imagine if Callisto had money and didn't want to diplomatically settle it. The copyright system is not something you can just mess around with, certainly not whilst using your artist as a human shield. Secondly, Noah did Kinoflex and Callisto dirty. Callisto got a temporary strike on his channel, and regardless of the retraction, it would have killed any momentum it had going on the algorithm. This sneaky fucker was giving them a choice to force the video down, either without a strike or with it. Both Callisto and Kinoflex were being lied to by a deceptive freak falsely waving the white flag, and whilst they were going for open communication lines, he was actively dissuading the artist from doing so. These two were deceived into even posting tweets supporting him. Their crime is having the standards and generosity Noah doesn't care for. And thirdly, there's some of his most loyal supporters who went out to defend him, specifically his co-host Simon and Wargaming Dad. Both of them went out of their way to defend Noah on streams and faced constant adversity, believing they were backing what was meant to be the truth. Yet Noah lied to them and actively let them go on to defend him and retroactively embarrass themselves. Then, when his artist asked questions, Noah said that Wargaming Dad was just some drama tuber loser, as if this wasn't a guy he was talking to and even co-streamed with previously. And to think that at this point in the timeline, this stuff wasn't even public yet, or known to every party involved. Back on OtterlyNoah's Discord, he gets news that Dickers has gone live, looking further into the situation. Noah's response? Who cares? Dickers is a loser who just wants drama. I already talked to Kino and Callisto, they do not care. Talking with Kino right now. Unfortunately, Noah's actions were affecting the linchpin of his entire lie. As a result of being the person to strike Callisto's video, Deus Marionette had been getting unwarranted harassment. This and the myriad of questions from Wargaming Dad finally made Noah crack. He pulled Deus and Kinoflex into a private call and confessed everything.
In that call, I thought it was going to be, oh no, she's going to yell at me or tell me to go on some rant or something. But what I ended up hearing was Noah confessing that he pressured Deus into taking down the video, and he lied to her and said that there was racism in it and that it would make her look bad. Deus said that she was really overwhelmed by the amount of people coming to her, calling her a bitch, calling her evil, essentially, because they don't understand why she was false copywriting Callisto's video. I was just sitting there horrified because, oh my god, I've essentially been on the wrong side of this controversy the entire time. It was Noah the entire time. So I felt terrible, and immediately I said, okay, I'm going to bring Callisto into this so you can tell him yourself.
This eventually leads Kinoflex to drag Noah's ass onto Dickers' show for a confession, and well, you can hear how completely caught he is.
We just got off a call with Noah, Callisto, his artist Deus, and our mutual friend Jan. We were talking about this for a good amount of time, and we came to some disturbing revelations. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let Noah speak for himself.
Noah, hello?
Hello? Yeah, so I originally made Deus aware of Callisto's video, and that's why she struck it down. Because
okay, but why? Why did she
No,
come to that conclusion?
Okay, don't
Because
worry.
she thought it was racist,
explain
and
it
I
to
thought
me,
it was racist.
Explain it to me, because I'm...
Now, even here, Noah doesn't have the courage to tell the whole truth. He says that he showed Deus the video and called it racist, which is why she struck it down. What he doesn't mention is that he specifically instructed her on how to go through the YouTube copyright system.
Well, what did you do besides thinking that it was racist?
Specifically, I thought it was racist because of a section in there about Sweet Baby Inc. and also a section in there about Django Unchained in Tarantino movies.
Wow, so after all this time, we finally have our reason on why Noah thought the video was racist. Now, the part that he's referring to is a section where this Sweet Baby Inc. person criticizes the film Django Unchained for not being focused enough on slavery and being black, and how it focuses more on Dr. Schultz than it does Django. He doesn't get his moment to go off. Here's what Callisto had to say.
Django Unchained is a great western. It's bold, written and paced well, has explosive action, phenomenal performances, a satisfying arc and ending. Every single objection that this individual has is explained in the narrative. Django starts off as a slave. The reason why someone like Schultz has the best lines and monologues is most likely due to his formal education. And before Django can do this, he has to learn how to read. Before he can make executive decisions on how to tackle a mission, he probably needs to learn how to be a bounty hunter. Thus, the entire ruse to get Django's wife back without being put in a compromised situation, which is why Django would defer to Schultz on how to conduct such an operation. Even as she constantly references how the film Blazing Saddles does genre correctly through the prism of identity, she then has to admit that it fails in its depiction of Native Americans.
But the fact is, while Blazing Saddles is a triumph for me, it is an abject failure at portraying its indigenous characters. And it fails because Brooks made sure to interrogate his bias and privilege in relation to blackness, but he didn't offer the same respect or care to the only people who can, in my opinion, truly transform Westerns as a genre.
Now, I was watching this thinking, hey, where's the racism? And I believe I may have found the comment Noah was referring to. Listen guys, if you're sensitive, prepare yourself. If there are children in the room, block their ears right now, because this clip may be setting off a few race riots as we speak.
Another former employee of Sweet Baby Inc. came out and said that for her game Validate, it was important to not have any white people on the team, as white people would just microaggress on everybody at the company, and I guess that would just be one giant HR nightmare. Man, I wonder why someone would object to Sweet Baby Inc. To any reasonable person, this alone would disqualify such a group from having input on various narratives. Now, maybe OtterlyNoah agrees. Maybe he does think that Django Unchained would be better off if the sensitivity readers at Sweet Baby Inc. were able to edit the script so they could center blackness or whatever buzzword bullshit they would come up with. Or maybe he just didn't do any research into the group, I don't know.
Just to remind you, this is the basis upon which Noah decided that Callisto was a raging racist deserving of copyright smiting. Yeah, I don't believe that.
My motivation was to not have her associated with a video that I personally deemed as racist.
But she's not associated with it. Nobody knows that she's drawn that profile picture. In fact, she doesn't even have a Twitter account.
One of my mods.
How would that be a valid copyright strike, Noah? It's a transformative thumbnail.
Well, I think she was, I figured she would be more interested in seeing the art changed.
If she just wanted the art to change, shouldn't she have just sent an email or a DM? No, it's not just that. You actively discouraged her from responding to Callisto's email. This is just crazy.
Callisto and we thought that you didn't know anything about it and that this artist was acting on her own behalf. Like you didn't know anything about it. Like, why would you word it in the way that just throws her under the bus? I just don't get it.
Well, I don't know what to say there, honestly. I don't remember how I worded it specifically. So
I can tell you. He was sent a copyright claim from somebody I know, but I was not responsible for it.
Because I was not responsible for making that claim.
You were responsible. You sent it. You sent it to her. The video. He was sent a copyright claim from somebody I know, but I was not responsible for it. That was just a lie, wasn't it?
Well, that wasn't a lie because I showed her how to do it. I wasn't responsible for it.
This guy sucks. Can we just nuke this guy's house, please? Noah's logic is that if his name wasn't on the strike, he wasn't responsible. This is despite the fact he showed her the video, he said the video was racist, and he brought up the idea of a copyright takedown. Again, remove him from the equation in an alternate scenario. Would this ever have happened with the artist acting on their own?
So you were responsible for it. You told her to do it.
I showed her how to do it.
Yeah, brought it to attention, gave her a reason why she might want to do it. You're like the content creator she likes, right? You're a friend of hers. But you were responsible for it. You were one of the people responsible for it. You were telling
I would say I was one. Yes, I was responsible for sending her the whole copyright thing that Camelot had sent me before, and also letting her know about the video to begin with. Yes.
W shifting blame, dude. You know, well, I was responsible, but only for sending her something that someone else sent me. No, mate.
So when did you come to the realization that you've made an awful mistake?
When I talked to Deus, and I could tell she was incredibly stressed out about all this.
Wait, so you only care about it because Deus was stressed? You put her in the firing line. So, here we are. Deus Marionette. She says, I'll wait a day. I'll reply. Thinking about how to word it. Like, thank you for removing my art. You need permission from the artist before using it to promote your work. So wait, hold on. She's coming to you to ask how to, deal with the drama during it. So you know that she's stressed during this time. Okay. That's fine. We can move on.
You told me that she was stressed out about this.
Yeah, that was today.
So you said, here is what she said about replying to Callisto. Looks like she will reply, but wait a bit. I imagine because of her being stressed right now. Wait, I didn't even read the second line of the DMs. You're describing it yesterday as being stressed. You're in the screen share, right?
I'm looking at your stream on a different tab.
So you understand that you yourself admit yesterday, in the thing we're looking at right now, that she is stressed. So when you just tried to claim that she wasn't stressed, that was a lie, right?
Well,
Again, you said this directly to me, Noah.
Noah?
Yes?
That was a lie, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So when you're earlier saying to Wargaming Dad that she doesn't understand fair use, you're the one who doesn't understand fair use, right? I mean, why would you say that? What's the motivation there? Why are you saying that about her?
I don't know. That is how Callisto's video was taken down. I wouldn't even say I'd dislike your video. I think it's just
You said it was racist.
You're telling me to delete it, bro.
I dislike your video. I dislike your video because the racism, but also I think there's some. Yeah, I dislike your video. I'll dislike your video.
Okay, so you dislike the video, so you want it taken down? What is this? And then you lie to me to my face?
At this point, I'm convinced this guy is a compulsive liar who is just trying to get out of everything. He will lie about things he's just said, about things on screen. He's desperately trying to leave unscathed and stepping on so many rakes in the process. That doesn't mean he's not a liar, that just means he's a bad one. Over the next hour or so, Noah is constantly challenged on many things and either concedes or goes dead silent. A couple times he even leaves just to join back again. It's a brutal affair, fitting for someone who's lied this much so far. And if you think this is too harsh, consider that at this point, they don't even know the timeline we do. There is still stuff Noah is hiding, and his silence is just buying time to hope they forget about it. But there's one clip worth looking at, the true reason behind his strike.
Why were you being manipulative?
Because I did not like seeing that video.
So you were manipulating one of your friends to take it down because you didn't like the video. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you want the video taken down because it was a 2.5-hour hit piece that criticizes you, and that was the only reason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the only reason why OtterlyNoah convinces artists to take down the video is because he disliked Callisto's video. That is legitimately the only reason. The racism stuff was just a front. It's because the media critic got mad that someone criticized him. That is what led to this spiral of lies. We are now, finally, caught up with the whole plagiarism and copyright strike situations, and how Noah caught my attention in the first place. Now, I have a lot more to talk about, but we can't keep going. I kinda saw the runtime was gonna be like 2 hours, and I just couldn't. Kudos to Callisto for going that long in his own video, but that's not quite my tempo. Still, I'll confess. As soon as Noah's copyright scandal was known to the public, I made a few calls, and within a day or so, I was getting constant leaks of Noah's Patreon-only Discord server. To be honest, didn't really expect much, but Noah really likes to talk in there, and the leaks that have come out as a result have been eye-opening, and in part 2, I will be presenting the best of the bunch for the public. But just for you, here's a little preview.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I wanted to clarify with you specifically up front that when Deus put the, when she got, put the claim on Callisto's video, I was the one who told her specifically about that video, just because of the art.
Okay, you told her, but you didn't tell her to place a copyright claim on it, right?
I did not tell her specifically, I did not command her to do that.
Why make the copyright claim in the first place? Just because,
Because Noah suggested I do a copyright strike.
I did not, I gave that suggestion. I did not specifically command her to do that, though.
And then you gave me the link to how to copyright strike.
Art taken down.
You gave me the link on how to do a copyright strike takedown after.
I'm just a little confused as to why, it would get to that, go to that extreme.
Don't ask me, ask Noah. He's the one who sent me the link. He's the one who gave me Callisto's name, and he's the one who provided me the link on how to do a copyright claim takedown. And he said he would walk me through. You said you would walk me through the process to do it. I told you I didn't want to, and I didn't want people coming after me.
Wait, no, you didn't say that.
I said I was afraid that Callisto was going to come after me, and you said don't worry about it.
But Deuce, what would your ideal resolution to this be?
I honestly didn't really care. I was just brought into this. For me, he can post the video. I didn't care.
I thought you cared about him using your art, though.
No, but you're the one who brought it to me and said he was using it for a racist purpose.
When I saw the art there, I kind of freaked out. I went to Deus and told her about that.
Okay, so yeah, that matters because when we originally talked, you said that you didn't know anything about the person who did the copyright.
Really? You told them you had no idea.
When did I say that?
Well, you said that you knew the person, but you said that you didn't tell them to copyright claim Callisto's video.
I didn't tell her specifically to do that. I just told her the process.
Deus, how comfortable on a scale of 1 to 10 are you with making any public appearances in a stream or a video?
I honestly don't appear on anything. I just want to be invisible on the internet. So this has been very stressful.
Yeah, but the entire reason Kino is suggesting the stream is not so he can Dickers go in on you for 20 minutes. Ideally, none of us.
That's why I feel like it's gonna be. Dickers is kind of slimy.
Fine, I'll be there to prevent from being like that.
Dickers is kind of slimy. I'm sorry. Didn't you just try to get one of your community members to take the heat for you?
I feel very used right now. In a battle that I had nothing to do with.
I was trying to look out for you because I've had a similar experience like this before.
Okay, but the outcome has hurt everyone in this call.
Yes.
No, I defended you. I took you at your word that you didn't know anything about this, but it turns out you liked me.
I did. Ugh. When did I say I didn't know anything about this?